Everybody ready?
Yeah, live. Spin the wheel.
Four lit and in the green.
Spin the wheel.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black. I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, because I'm black.
Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody.
We're here.
How are you all feeling back? And all three of us are back, which is an outstanding. Brian took his tour of the great Midwest. I almost said the great Northeast. He was not there. But Brian's back.
This is the Northeast.
So we're really
I hate when
excited
people
Brian's
talk
back.
in. Welcome back, Brian. I hate when people talk in directions. It really aggravates me.
Why? Like cardinal
Yeah, why?
directions?
Yeah, like
North, south, east, west?
Yeah, like Northeast, like the just say where you are. I feel like that you trying to be like a little smart ass. Like I don't speak in North, South, East, West.
I got good at that because when you communicate with anybody from facilities management on anything on a college
You're
campus,
right.
is there's a hole
You're
in the
right.
northeast wall about 6 inches down from, like, you have to be super specific. And so
Then they should start putting like N's, S's, W's, and E's on every wall I walk, like in every building I walk into.
You and I have it easy too, because it's like, all right, where am I? All right, 29 is running this way. So
I don't
that's
even
north,
do
that's
that.
south.
I don't do that. I don't do
Oh,
that. I have to
I do
download
that
the compass
literally all
app
the
on my
time.
phone, like in order to know which way was what when I'm talking to facilities. What stage do you want it on, the north or the east? Sir, I don't know. Put it near the window.
Look, I just work here. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody told me I had to learn cardinal
the east.
directions.
That's the east wall.
I know you were gonna. I knew it's the east wall. As soon as I said it, I knew
he wants it on the east wall, underneath the thing. Anyway, it's happy to be with you all. This is gonna be a potpourri level episode.
Yes,
we're gonna cover a little bit of everything. We're excited to be with you all. Quick update. So we heard back from the folks at SAG-AFTRA about what the rules are. And so we had a great little pre-po meeting. We are going to explore doing a movie review. It will be a little bit different than our older reviews. If you go back to like other reviewed episodes where we're like, yeah, this was great, and I'm so excited for all the connectedness of this movie, and it's going to be outstanding. It's not going to be a lot of that. It's going to be like, yeah, and the lighting was a good choice.
I like this direction of this character.
The voice actors did an outstanding job voice acting. Like, it's going to be very much more what the SAG folks call genuine review. That's what it's gonna be. It's the big and most important thing. It's still gonna be us. Like, it's not it's not gonna be like, putting on our hoity-toity hats, pouring a glass of wine, and saying like,
it's not Herberts and Gerberts.
We're not gonna be
the sandwich.
Herberts and Gerberts.
It's gonna be an urban guys. We're making Subway sandwiches exclusively on the podcast.
Ebert and Roper. What's the two people name?
Ebert, Siskel and Ebert, and then Ebert and Roper.
Oh, was there? Wait a minute. Was there three different people?
Siskel and Ebert were one. Then Siskel died. Then it was Ebert and Roper, and then Ebert died.
Got it.
Yes.
Oh, damn. Okay.
They were. So that. But more importantly, let's see how everybody's doing. Let's kick it on over to Brian Roush, aka Finish Strong. Brian, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good to be back. I am energized. I'm feeling rested from my vacation, even though it was a lot of work. Anybody with kids knows that traveling with kids is not like a vacation. It's work, but it's fun, and you get to see new things, but it is work. So did an 8-day trip through Wisconsin up to northern Minnesota, and it was glorious. Got to show my kids some stuff where I grew up, and
that's cool.
Stuff that was important to me. And then they promptly were like, okay. And then they just started talking to me about, their comic book that they wanted to talk about, or some, story. So no, but it was good. Both Liam and Parker caught a fish on a lake.
Hey, look at that. That's pretty cool.
That was a big deal for them. Shout out to Josh and Aaron Holbrook, who let us go on a boat of theirs and a lake, and then just like it was
love it.
like the glamping of catching a fish. Like my like Josh like legit got the fishing pole out, put the worm on him and the bobber, and he's like, all right, just go for it. And I'm like, this is amazing. I don't have to do any of the hard stuff right now. This is incredible. And then my kid catches a fish. It's great. I mean, you know, we caught it together, but yeah, that was a highlight. And then I saw my mom and dad too, and we did a vacation up in a city called Duluth, which is right on Lake Superior. Duluth. Yep, right on Lake Superior. So got to be by the water. I re-energized my water energy. And yeah, no, it was an overall good time. Like the whole thing. But I'm glad to be back. It's good to be sleeping in my own bed. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Back in my own house. You know, you're doing the thing when you stay at someone's house. When you wake up, you're like, oh, is it too early? But like,
you just sit there.
I don't want to feel like I'm sleeping in. Like, but I have kids, but like I also don't want to like root around.
You also don't want to get up too eager, like you've been waiting there for 20 minutes, like it's 7:30, and you come running down the stairs, like, oh man, waking up, right? And it's not it.
You want to be polite too, because like I'm a big coffee drinker, so like I am at the mercy of my host. And Josh and Aaron are great hosts. I want to give that a shout out too. That's good. But like some hosts, you just wake up and you're like, hey, so does anybody drink coffee here? And then you find out like, no, nobody drinks coffee here. And you're like, I am going to have a rough morning. And then you just have to go on through with your day. And then hopefully there's a Starbucks close that you can get through within 20 minutes. Yeah. But I digress. Anyway, it was a great vacation. I'm glad to be back here talking about fun things. I'll leave it there. So
well, I'm glad.
So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
We're glad you're back, Brian. We're glad that you got some time with your family. But we are also glad that you are back.
Well, did I miss why you named yourself Finish Strong?
I named myself Finish Strong because of a recent TV series that I don't know if we're reviewing, so I'm keeping it generic right now.
Yep.
There's a recent TV series that I'm not naming.
Oh, got it.
That is popular.
I up on it. Yeah.
That did not finish
if I can
strong.
Offer a genuine review.
We could do a genuine review of it.
I think we could do a genuine review because I think that's important. So when we get to it. We'll get to it.
We can do that.
We drink every time we say genuine review.
Yeah.
SAG, if you're listening, we took it seriously.
We're trying our best, and we know we will never be in the SAG after like the club. We know that, right?
We're not going to act. We're not going to be paying actors.
I mean, if it's a commercial, I'm happy to like be like, I love Zat's ice cream, or you know, whatever.
I could be the guy who puts the ear thing, like the ear cleaner, in his ear too far, and it's like, like I could be that guy.
Why did you
be in that guy?
I love how your first idea is like, I can be in pain. I can
do pain.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm good at it. So
amazing.
But we also got to make sure everybody's thoroughly welcomed and introed and brought in. So I'm going to kick on over to one Marcus J. Destin, aka Damn Son, you ain't got to keep it 100 no mo. Marcus, how you feeling?
It's as hot as I'm gonna just say it's hot as a bitch outside. Listen, the past 2 days it's raining now. Like it's been raining.
That's good
here in Vermilion, but the past 2 to 3 days were like 100 plus. No, we did like a garage sale, like a little rummage sale, trying to get rid of some stuff in my house, and I got a friend of mine that's moving soon, so. You know, we did that on Saturday. We were outside from 8:30 a.m. to like 3 p.m. And it was just hot. I didn't think I could get any blacker until I took off my Apple Watch band. And then I saw the difference. I said, no, thank you. This shit was rough.
Yeah, it was hot. It was muggy too. So like when you were out there, I was like, he's probably so sweaty.
I was
probably sweaty.
Buckets.
Yeah, it was disgusting. My balls were upset with me.
Yeah, they felt like they were drowning.
This damn heat, please. Yeah. But no, other than that, we chilling, we good. It is that part of the semester, y'all. Let me see. It's July 31st, April 1st, August 1st is tomorrow. And it is 16 days until move-in for us.
It happens every year, but even the kids' school that's starting up in 2 weeks. We have orientation starting next week at the institution that I work at. Like summer's over, folks. We did it.
It is indeed. It is
and it flew
indeed.
by. So we are here live and in living color as usual, but you know, it is what it is. Douglas, a Bond villain.
Oh, you guys.
Bond villain.
Yeah, that's
I'm doing well. We had July was the Wagners are limping into August, everybody. Like we
But
are
you're gonna make it.
as a group, we are finishing strong. We're gonna make it. 2 out of the 4 of us got diagnosed with strep throat
Whoa.
today, including myself and
No.
Harrison.
No.
Harper and Brittany are still holding strong. But we're making it. Like it was very hot this weekend. We had a good weekend. I'm just excited that like we're gonna get into some level of a rhythm here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the whole reason why.
Mhm.
Like I'm excited. I'm actually excited for the school year because there's like it's fucking scheduled. Like like you
Yes.
know what's supposed to happen every day instead of like a spin the wheel. What are we doing today?
Right.
Like I'm like over that. So but yes, that's going well. Work's going well. Harper got her ears pierced this weekend.
Okay,
So
big
that was
Harp.
exciting.
Whoa, big deal.
Yeah, and we went to an actual like tattoo piercing place to get her ears pierced.
How'd that go?
She did awesome.
Okay,
So she did
awesome.
great. No tears, no nothing. The reason why we did that is because we had done our research because we're
Yeah.
millennials. And
Of
so
course.
we've done our research on like the best way to do it. And we found out like that those like guns that they use at
Yeah.
Claire's are both not sanitary and not great for your ears,
Oh.
actually, like in how they
No
do it.
way.
They like it's how they punch it through, like it
Yeah.
can really make the lobe all messed up. So we went
Oh.
to an actual piercing place, a recommendation from somebody that said like,
Nice.
no, it's clean, it's hygienic, it's actually better for them, it's less painful, and she didn't cry. She was like jacked to shit. She sat there. It's 15 minutes. She was excited about it.
Nice.
The problem
Wow.
is, and now I have this like little person walking around my house thinking like she owns the place because she's like, she like poses. She's like, I got my ears pierced. Like she is like walking around
Yeah.
like somehow
Yeah.
it's changed her
What was you
station in the
expecting?
house. I don't know.
I mean, I'd kind of let her. I don't have
I
my
mean,
ears
I-
pierced.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm letting her, but not for much longer. Like
Okay, my
it's
next question is, when is Harrison going? Because that's the one I want to see.
that's I mean, he was pretty like
I could see
yeah.
him. I could see him with a nice little cubic zirconium stud
Rocking,
in his ear.
Yeah, he
Rocking a
enjoyed
little
that.
ice on the
You can
ear.
pull
I
that off.
asked him when we got there. I was like, "Hey, buddy, you want your ears pierced?" He's like, "No." Like he was just
No.
like
Yeah,
immediately like,
Yeah,
"No,
like,
I'm
no,
all
thank
set."
you.
Um,
Good.
But yeah, he's doing like everybody's doing well. We're just ready to be in some like regularly scheduled programming for the most part.
Right.
So,
It'll
but
be
right.
good, man.
But yeah,
It's all
and I'm a Bond villain because I don't know if it's stress or if it's illness, but I broke out in some hives on like this side of my face. Now, for context, I have gotten stress hives before. So the
Sure.
stress has made me react allergically. And so it's a whole thing. And so but I kept saying, like, looking at myself in the mirror, like, yeah, maybe I'll take over France. Like, it was like one of those where, like, I was like,
What?
yeah, maybe I'll steal the Mount Rushmore and keep it in my office. Like, I felt like a Bond villain.
And keep
there
it
for a
in my
little
own. Yo, they did have some wild ass
Yeah.
radical. I'm going to shrink Mount Rushmore and put
Hey,
it in
yeah.
a snow globe, and it's like,
Yeah.
why?
I'm going to reverse the poles of the Earth, and the
Right.
middle will be cold, and the ice caps will melt. And it was like, bro, just wait 40 years. Like,
Yeah, like, we'll be
we're going to
fine.
do that to
Well,
ourselves.
And like the James Bond books too, like if you like books, definitely, and you haven't read them, like go
Yeah.
check them out because
Mhm.
they are so different than other media that
Ian
they
Fleming.
are
Yep.
portrayed in. The one book I recommend is The Devil May Care,
That's the
and it's a
one.
James
Okay.
Bond story, and
Yeah.
basically it's him like sneaking around trying to figure out this mystery. It's like way more mystery elements
Oh, sure.
of it rather than like I'm James Bond, I'm gonna shoot you in the face and make a wisecrack and then go to my next thing.
Yeah.
Like it's very much like, these people are missing. I'm gonna go try to figure it out.
People are not here. So
He
Yeah.
wasn't just. Oh, you mean he wasn't just fucking all the time and just like
Yeah.
Right?
not
he
doing
had
any
something.
spy work?
He had something to show to you. It was his pistol, or it was his pistol. So
Oh, I mean, you're right. I just don't feel good about it. But yeah, like those books portray that character in such a different way that I enjoyed. And I was like, oh, I kind of enjoy
okay,
this more
all
than
right.
some
I'm
other
here for this.
things
I can do
that
this. All
I've
right.
seen this character do. So anyway, just putting
Awesome.
that out there.
Great. That's great. Well, I'm glad all of us are here, but it's time for us to play. Catch. I get it. Yeah, I get
slow
it.
down,
Come on,
slow
tune it
down,
up.
slow
Yeah,
down,
warm your
slow
voice
down.
up. We gotta do
Slow
it.
down. Roman Myers, we see you in the chat, my boy. We out here. We see
Roman,
you.
oh
We
my
see you in the
gosh.
Patreon, DZ. All right, go ahead, hit me.
All right, it's now time to play Catch That Quotable.
Oh wow.
The silky sounds of Marcus J. A much more hallelujah level style
Yeah, it
chorus.
was.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Yo,
it's definitely
do
a
you know
higher. Yeah.
That song will make me cry every time if I listen to it too much. That fucking Shrek song. Hallelujah.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
Yo, that song, every time it comes on, I only think about Shrek and then crying. I have
Oh
zero
my gosh,
idea.
that's amazing.
You know what song it is for me? I
What is
have the song from remember. Oh God. Okay, it's a song by Cat Stevens, and it's that song about like it's basically him singing to his son, like
Father and son.
Father and Son by Cat
That one
Stevens.
gets me every
That
time.
has
Okay,
made
yeah.
me cry.
Yeah,
That
Just
gets me
unprompted
every time.
And
Yep.
it's because I'm a dad.
Yep.
I think that's right, right? I don't know
That's
why.
probably it.
I don't know why Hallelujah. Well, Brian, do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the spot right now.
Oh, it's
but-
okay. It's okay. We can bring it back after Catch That Quotable.
Yeah, let's bring it back. But yeah, Hallelujah shows up in so many different places. So
Jesus Christ.
Can you guys sing Catch That Quotable in harmony one of these times?
I could try.
Roman? You put $20 on Catch That Quotable round, and I'll say, yeah.
Roman, I'm more of like an emo kind of singer, and I don't know how that. No, it's like more of a Patrick Stump. Yeah, it's more of like a Patrick Stumpy Fall Out Boy Newfound Glory type situation of just like, are you in pain or are you trying to sing?
What is a phrase? I have so many random questions. You know a phrase I always yell out randomly all the time, like from an old, like alternative rock. You wanna be an American idiot? I have zero idea why, but that is the funniest line to me. Of like, I don't know. I get so excited with that.
That's
song,
really funny.
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
I love that a lot. All right, put the clock up if we have it.
Yeah.
And let's do the quote. Gentlemen, are you ready for this week's quote?
Let's do it.
Almost. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Hit me.
That's what I wanted. Anyway, all right.
I can't believe I missed that. That's my.
Oh
my gosh, I'm usually on
it. Brian said, "Yeah, go ahead."
Yeah, go ahead. I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Brian, what's wrong with you? No, hit me.
Fuck was go ahead.
I'll show you a magic trick. Okay.
All right.
Fuck. Good call. That was great. That was
all
great.
right. Don't run. Don't make me shoot you. You were expensive.
Oh God.
Is this iRobot?
Don't run. Don't make me shoot you. No, because he wanted to shoot them in iRobot.
Don't run. Don't make me shoot you. You were expensive.
This feels like a comedy. The clock has started, by the way. So feels like a comedy.
I don't want to do this, but this feels like it could be Django Unchained.
I'll let you sit with that one.
I'm gonna sit here.
Not Django Unchained.
I'm gonna sit here and own that.
One. Yeah,
I'm gonna sit here and own that for a moment.
Matter of fact, nobody else guess anything. Let's let the last 30 seconds be just strictly for dinner.
It's just pure silence of my own guilt.
I rarely laugh that loud because I'm close to the mic, but I couldn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was way off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Tell them what the hint was. Yeah, no, tell them what the hint was.
The hint was Disney.
Yeah. So this is all your time to shine at this point. Me and Brian are no longer guessing.
Treasure Planet.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, Brian. Brian's guess is Treasure Planet.
I don't know.
Let's find out if it was Django, like Doug said.
I love that family friendly film.
Yeah.
with
Django
Jamie
where he
Foxx.
sits and talks about his expensive property running away. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it wasn't that.
What was it, Doug? Tell us.
It was Disney's Lilo and Stitch.
Oh no, Maggie, if you're listening,
wow.
I'm so sorry.
I don't think
And
Jamie Foxx
I'm-
was in that.
Yeah. He was not. I also don't think Leonardo DiCaprio was in that
He
either.
was not.
To be fair, Leo did play a convincing racist, so
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh. There's a story about him that
Well, yeah,
oh my
when they
gosh.
can we talk about that?
yeah, we can.
That-
We're not
because
promoting it. We're just
Bryson-
telling a story from it.
I mean, this
Oh,
is
yeah,
in
like
an interview you can find. I'm pretty sure I know what story Marcus
Are we
is
talking
gonna
about the
say.
same one, like the one where he like he actually cut his hand open?
Oh, I was gonna do a different one.
Oh,
you tell yours though.
Oh, when he was doing the scene in Django where he was like, giving the speech about a slave in the skull and he
Right.
smashes the glass, he actually cut his hand. Like in the film, they showed that, and he touches like her face. He actually supposedly he cut his hand for real. Like that was his real blood.
Yeah.
And he kept going.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And Kerry Washington was like
And just went with it. and I was
covered
like,
in his blood.
That's
and
disgusting.
She was
So her
totally
reaction of
unprepared.
being in horror was like both horrified but
Yeah.
simultaneously concerned. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
What was your
incredible.
story, Brian?
So there's an interview, I believe it was done with Vanity Fair. I'll have to find it. But basically, Leonardo DiCaprio's on set and he gets the lines and he's like, I can't say these slurs.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't. It goes against everything I stand for. I can't do it. And so basically a situation came about where like Jamie Foxx and Sam Jackson are
Yeah.
badgering Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
to say these awful things about them because like, well, it's gotta be in here. It's for the spirit of the story. You have to do this. So like that is just like it's a lot.
I think
You're
it
gonna,
was- I think
you're
one of
gonna
the
make
things-
fun of me for thinking
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
he couldn't.
Yes, we are. It was also funny because Samuel Jackson was like, one of the things he said to Leonardo DiCaprio was, "This is just another Wednesday for us as actors."
Right.
So like he was like essentially like, this is a part of the job. Like
Yeah.
we know who you are at your core. Now I feel like you do have some actors and actresses and people who act that will just come out and fling it. They've been waiting on that moment to play like a damn.
There's some people where you're like too
you said
ready
that
to
shit
say
a little
this.
too
You
good.
were waiting.
Like that,
you were waiting.
that
you were
hard
waiting.
R is hitting.
Yeah.
Right.
You've got that
Yeah.
down, unfortunately. Well, there you have it. We got it. I got it. I got it wrong. Not we got it wrong.
I mean, I got it wrong too. I guessed Treasure
I
Planet.
got it.
I didn't even
wrong.
get a chance to guess because I
You
was just
did not.
Yeah,
Were
no.
you gonna guess Lilo and Stitch?
I might have. I damn sure wasn't guessing Django. I can tell you that much.
Well, here we are.
All right.
Gentlemen,
Mhm.
what is on your list of things that you all would like to talk about today?
I want to start off with this right here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
What we have
seeing
on
a
the screen here is a one gotta go scenario.
All right.
Oh.
Okay.
We have
All right.
4 actors. In A, we have
Oh.
Tom Cruise. In B, we have Will Smith. In C, we have Samuel L. Jackson. And in
Huh.
D, we have Robert Downey Jr. Here are the rules
This
of the
is
game.
painful.
Whoever you pick, everything that they are in has to go. So imagine they have been recasted if it's a side role, or the movie
man.
does not exist all together. There is no in between.
Oh.
Gentlemen,
Wow.
thoughts?
I mean, this is so I got I mean,
Oh,
at
Jesus.
first I thought this would be easy. I thought it would be between Tom Cruise and Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, did you read them off?
I did.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
he
must
did.
have been
Yeah, I
somewhere
did.
else. Sorry.
No,
That's
I mean,
okay.
I definitely, that's where mine is at. I like, you're telling me Sam Jackson's filmography is going to be gone. Like there's
Mhm.
classics in there. You can't touch it. You can't touch it.
I feel like the first person when I saw this, and the reason it was going to make it so much fun, the first person that came to mind was like of who you cannot touch was Samuel Jackson. Like
You cannot. That
I'm sorry.
that man is a gem.
I feel like for me, it's between Robert Downey Jr. and Will Smith.
Oof.
Okay.
Oof.
Of who you get rid
Unfortunately,
of.
because
Dude, I
the
don't
reason
know.
why is if you look, the people on the left, do you understand how many movies that is?
I
It's
mean,
like
Tom
1,000.
Cruise.
That's hard though, Doug. I would have to disagree with Will Smith. I know why we say Robert Downey Jr. because of the MCU would not be the MCU without Robert Downey Jr. Literally, well,
I
without
think you
Blade
could
first.
find. Here's the
But
thing. I think you could find somebody else.
not. I don't think you could find somebody to do it like
I
Robert
mean,
Downey Jr. though.
Tom Cruise.
He was supposed to be Robert Downey Jr. Here's my alternate opinion, right? Here's me. You can't touch Will Smith because he's got too many summer blockbusters. I'm sorry. You just like the summers don't hit the same without Men in Black.
The landscape of like the late 90s
It's him.
would entirely change.
Fresh Prince
if
of
you pluck him
Bel-Air.
out.
You don't
I
have
was
him
ready
in
to. I was
any of them?
ready. I was ready to let him go until you said summer blockbusters.
He's got
I mean,
too many.
Every
ready to let him
summer
go.
from like 1997 to like 2003, he was the summer. It wasn't summer until you had a Will Smith go woo in your face. You
Then
know,
you know what? Get rid of the guy with the drug problem. Let RDJ go.
Jesus Christ.
Wow,
What is
wow,
happening?
wow.
Yo, what is going on?
He owns a zoo now.
Does he?
Well, he has
his house is
alpacas.
one.
He has alpacas. On his
Alpacas
property.
constitutes a zoo. Everybody, if you get
Look,
just one,
look,
you have a zoo now.
I watched an interview with him, and he had alpacas or something. Okay,
Brian,
Zoo.
please ignore Doug because he is clearly on 10 today. He is clearly on 10. Clearly.
Man.
Can I say I would do the reverse of what Brian said, right? Where you have Tom Cruise play Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
What if could Robert Downey Jr. played any Tom Cruise roles where you could swap?
I don't think he could do like Mission Impossible. I don't think he could do. He certainly doesn't have the I don't care about my life enough to do Top Gun, right? Like, what other person would put themselves in an F-16 and be like, yeah, fuck it. If I throw up, it is what it is. Like, I just don't think he has that like everybody else does. Tom Cruise, the only person who's willing to say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive this motorcycle off a cliff and I'm actually going to do it so it can be shot. That is a Tom Cruise unique quality.
I think based off of this, my right now answer is, and I hate to say it because of the whole Scientology thing, but my answer would be Robert Downey Jr. would have to go. And
okay, yeah,
I do feel like if you maybe looked hard enough, you could find somebody to be a good Tony Stark potentially. You know what I mean? Like,
or even
maybe.
a good. I mean, you could find another person who could do, like, if you think about stuff that's come out like Sherlock Holmes, you could find somebody who could do a good Sherlock Holmes. You could, some of the other things that he's been in over the years.
The Lincoln Lawyer? No, that wasn't a Lincoln Lawyer.
No, Lincoln Lawyer was Matthew McConaughey.
That was Matthew. What was the one where his dad was a judge and he was taking care of his dad who was sick? That was a good movie.
Oh, gee. I think it was called The Judge.
I think it was The Judge. I think that might have been right.
My name is Judge.
I don't know the rest. I don't know.
Guess. I mean, I guess. Here's the thing. It's like, are we recasting these roles, or like if they just don't exist?
I think you can recast them.
See, okay. I'm gonna clarify because you're right. I'm at like an 8. Like you, like, yeah. I'm gonna clarify because you can be like an 8.
Okay.
Here's the thing. There's Tom Cruise has done things that like I consider to be like you gotta watch it. So like Mission Impossibles, gotta see them.
Yeah, sure.
Like I would say if you haven't seen the movie Magnolia, don't go see it till the strike's over, but it's good. Almost backed myself into a corner with that.
SAG, we're trying. We're
trying so hard.
We're trying to figure this out.
Trying so hard. He gave a great performance in that film. Let's go that route. That's genuine review.
What a genuine review.
Genuine review.
I'm gonna make a stamp that says genuine review.
If we need a t-shirt.
Samuel L. Jackson, with all the stuff he did with what's his name? Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah.
like in the early days.
Oh my
Those are very good.
gosh.
Yeah,
I
you can't touch
mean,
that. Pulp
So for
Fiction.
me, it comes down to Robert Downey Jr. and Will Smith. And I'm sorry, but I like Robert Downey Jr.'s most recent work more than I like Will Smith's most recent work. So
you're going by most recent work.
I'm going most recent. In terms of like, if it left tomorrow, I'm not going to be upset that Independence Day left tomorrow.
What?
okay.
Are you serious? I can't believe you just said that.
I can't tell you the last time I watched it.
Oh my gosh. I
I just
am
watched that last
flabbergasted. I'm flummoxed. This is absurd.
Oh
no
my
way.
God.
There's no
I don't think
maybe
I've
it's my
seen-
childhood, but
I don't
like
think I've seen iRobot in completion.
Are you serious, Douglas? Incompletion.
the way you said incompletion
Because I know I've started
bothers
it.
me.
I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah, I
think
don't
that
like
I've
the way you
seen
said
it
that either.
in its entirety. Maybe completion was.
Yeah, I don't like.
I
the
mean,
way-
it's accurate and factual. There's nothing wrong with
That
it.
is the problem.
I don't know, man.
Could you
It
imagine
didn't
people
feel
said,
right.
I saw that movie to completion?
Yeah, that's
Nobody walks out of a movie and is like, I saw it till completion.
well. That's
No,
what they. That's
what
they
the
finished
said.
fuck?
the movie. I nodded off. I didn't make it through the whole thing.
That's what they
No
said
one
during-
says like I
when
didn't
50
complete
Shades of
it.
Grey came out.
Oh,
Like that's what it's like.
man.
Oh, I completed. I'm done.
Like,
Sorry, I didn't
sorry,
see
you
the-
did what?
I'm
I
finished.
didn't see the latest Tom Cruise film to completion. No.
The movie theater
I'm
employees
about
are like,
to
I
yank these
fucking hope
headphones
not. Like,
Clean up on aisle 7. Am I? Right?
I'm going the other way on this, and
Oh.
I know people are gonna be upset, but
Okay.
it's Tom Cruise for me.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay.
There's some classics. People know I love my fighter planes and starfighters, and he made a quintessential film in that genre, but
genuine review.
I look at these people, and if I gotta choose one, Mr. Cruz, like there's the door. If it was a reality show, you would
He's
not
not
get
getting a rose.
my flower. Exactly. Thank you. You would not get my flower. I hope you enjoyed the zip line here at this resort, and you can just leave.
In a matter of minutes, we got to completion, and
Yeah.
you will not get my flower.
Guys,
And I
we
just
can't
think-
start this thing. We can't
mean,
start
we
this
just got
podcast at
here.
8:30. We are. It's a
We
much.
just got here.
That's what they
We
do, though. They
just
give them
got here.
flowers.
Yeah, they
I've
give them their
never
flower until
watched a
completion.
full Bachelor episode, though.
Me neither. Me neither. I actually
I don't
hate
think I've
that
ever
show.
watched one of those.
I actually
So that's
hate
one
those shows.
thing that iRobot and The Bachelor have in common. I have not seen one of
That
those
is honestly, Doug. That is not
to completion.
genuine review. I don't, that's almost like saying no offense now. It's like, hey, no offense before I offend you, but like genuine review.
But in genuine review,
Genuine review.
Hey, in
This
genuine review,
sucked.
what the fuck you? How you haven't seen iRobot?
you know what's going to be really great? Genuine review is going to become no cap. That's
Yeah.
just like it's the next
Genuine
it's
review?
the-
Genuine
hey,
review.
Hey, I
Yeah,
went all the
well,
way there.
genuine-
Genuine review, man.
Genuine review,
All
for
the
real.
way there.
Love that movie. Genuine review. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna follow Brian on this one. I think I have just recently, like in the last few years, become a fan of Tom Cruise.
Sure.
In its entirety, of like loving the Mission Impossible movies, loving the
Yeah.
old stuff that he's done, and everything. You know, excluding maybe Jack Reacher, or is it Jack? Jack
No,
Reacher?
you're
Reacher
right.
Sounds right.
Jack Reacher.
I don't know anything new that wasn't already a part of another movie or extended or sequel to a franchise that I could say, oh, I love Tom Cruise in this. Like maybe Oblivion, maybe that was kind of last thing, genuine review. But
Oh. yeah.
I feel I feel like I'm gonna go Tom Cruise because he hasn't done anything recent for me to love. RDJ, you don't have the MCU without him. Will Smith is just Will fucking Smith. Like if he didn't have his whole scandal, I'm sure we would have had 2 fucking blockbusters by now. You know what I mean? Like he would have already been in the next big movie. And Samuel Jackson is
I feel like he
unfucking
would have
touchable.
locked down a franchise by
Yes,
now.
I think he had one and then he lost it. So like, I think you got to go with Tom Cruise on this one.
All right. All right.
I don't
Right?
feel
Yeah,
good
you
about
didn't make
it.
an answer.
Did I not pick one?
You did not pick one.
You
Oh,
didn't.
no,
Doug picked RDJ.
No,
Did you?
I'm cutting.
no.
I'm
Oh,
cutting
you're
Will
cutting
Smith.
Will
I'm
Smith.
cutting Will Smith.
You
What
cut
a-
Will Smith.
What
Yeah.
a terrible fucking decision.
Well,
We can all agree on Sam Jackson and Robert Downey Jr.
That's
And
true.
I feel like
That's true.
I feel like that's a good thing.
That's true.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
Okay. Well, good job, everybody.
Look, we did it, everybody. We did it.
Genuine review.
We did it.
Genuine review. Brian, we didn't get a genuine review out of you, and I feel like we really need it before we can keep moving.
It was a genuine
Thank
review.
God. Okay, great. Thank you. That's now we can move forward.
God is great. God is good.
But this guy didn't say peace be with me.
Hey, this guy right here,
Yeah, he's
right
going to
here.
hell.
He
Hey,
can
buddy.
shake my hand.
Hey, Bucko, you're going to hell with gasoline draws if you don't say it.
That's
Come on.
right.
Gasoline. I've never heard. Wow, there's so many phrases just popping out
No,
tonight.
it's
there's
a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah,
There's
we
a
got
lot.
what else to do.
Brian, what would you like to talk about today?
Oh man, goodness gracious. Okay, so I'm here. The only piece of news that I wanted to bring here was the current slate of video games that we have coming in the fall.
Okay.
And the other thing too is that today IGN reported that Nintendo is rumored to be releasing a new console next year in the second half of next year. And so that's kind of like the big thing. We kind of like just had these two other PS5 and Xbox just released their newer consoles about 2 years ago. So we're like kind of in that early development cycle, life cycle of those machines. And we're kind of starting to like get some other games banging out there. So like Starfield, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but it's going to be in the vein of like an open world RPG, but you're in space. They're going to make a ton of planets you can visit. It feels like a game made for me. If you've played Fallout, it's sounds like it's going to be very similar to that. And then we have Spider-Man 2 for PS4 or PS5 coming in October, which I feel like is going to be, I feel like that's going to like be the gangbuster gang of like game of the season. If I really had to put bets down, I mean, it's got everything. It's got symbiotes. It's got Miles.
I have a quick question for you, Brian.
Yeah.
That Spider-Man, is it connected to, does it have its own universe? Video game universe? Is that right?
Yeah, it has its entire own video game universe, and it remixes a lot of the stuff from the comics, which I genuinely enjoy as someone that has read a lot of Spider-Man comics, including the Clone Saga. Yes, Super Mario RPG is coming out too, which I played a lot, and I'm going to get back to the Spider-Man thing really quick. Funny thing about Super Mario RPG, I played it a lot as a kid, but I only got it from Blockbuster, and I could only play it for like 3 days, so I never beat it. So I'm very excited that Super Mario RPG.
One would say, Brian, you did
out.
not play that game to completion.
Yeah, that feels appropriate though. I don't know why.
You didn't complete the game.
I did not.
Appropriate use.
I didn't complete the game. No, I did not. So very excited to fulfill my childhood fantasy of just actually finishing the game. But yeah.
I got
anyway,
a lot of childhood fantasies I need to get into completion.
You also.
I didn't expect it to go that direction. I was just thinking about.
We held
Bowser.
it together for a solid 5 minutes,
It was
guys. We should be proud of ourselves. We did good. We did good.
But anyway, they remixed it in the Spider-Man game, and it's a lot cleaner in my opinion. It's like a lot more efficient.
Sure.
Harry Osborn isn't even there. Like they don't even try to make that connection. It's just like, oh, he's like on a trip, but then you find out like his dad Norman is trying to like he's sick and he's trying to be cured with the symbiote. That's like the big reveal at the end of the first game. And like all the stuff with Miles is streamlined too. It's not been like forever. Peter Parker hasn't been Spider-Man forever. Like he's in grad school and Miles is there. So you get these characters that are a little bit more matched and they work together. Yeah, and like it's already progressed to the point where like, you know, Peter Parker and Mary Jane are together. They're helping out with Feast. If you don't know what Feast is, it's Aunt May's nonprofit that appears in the comics like way later. So it feels more streamlined. It feels super tight, and there's a reason that people like it. Like, it's a really good story. It's really good gameplay. So it's easily, I would say, one of the most hyped games coming in the fall. So
Yeah.
just looking at those, just giving a shout out to those. But yeah, that's kind of, I just wanted to bring up some video game stuff. I'm currently playing the remake of Resident Evil 4. We'll see if I finish that before Starfield. But
Okay.
Starfield's next on my video game journey.
All right.
Okay, Brian,
What's up?
pick a console. What is
Oh.
the best? And then tell me PC versus that console. What is the difference?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the thing with PCs is like, you can soup up your PC, and you can have a top of the line PC, but at the end of the day, like, the reason I like gravitate more towards consoles is like, when I'm at the end of my day, like, I just want to sit on the couch and like not necessarily look at a computer screen. I love strategy games. Don't get me wrong. Those are a ton of fun, and I would play those to death as a kid in our computer room, which tells you how old I am, because we had a computer
Every
room,
90s house
quote
had a
unquote.
computer room.
Yup.
Yeah.
My dad yelled at me. He's like, "You're gonna make that computer burn up playing all those games. It's so hot." And it's like, I don't think that's how computers work, Dad. But now I have a job in tech, so that's kind of funny.
So now you can tell them that's not how computers work.
That's not how computers work.
anything.
But to answer your question directly, right now my favorite console is the PlayStation 5, and I
makes sense.
really like it because of the ease of access that it makes everything.
Okay.
Like, PlayStation has really just nailed down, like, you want to play a game, boom, you're in, go. Like, it's just so easy to do that. And I feel like with computers, there's just a little bit more of a barrier of entry. But like, quite literally, there's guys I play with every week. Matt, Brian, and Jake, we play Rocket League or something every week, and we all have PlayStations, and it's super easy to do it because we just fire them up and we go into Rocket League, and we know it's all going to work right away. We don't have to mess around with graphics cards or anything like that.
I get that.
You know, and that's kind of where I'm at with that. Obviously, there's a whole other discussion to be had about PC gaming. And I think it's great.
I'll contribute something to this too, Brian. I think the other thing that is appealing for me when it comes to consoles versus PCs, when you actually look at it, because like Brian, I have been into, like, I love strategy games, like,
oh my gosh,
that are like the turn-based ones, or the stuff like Starfield, or like the old school Command and Conquer. If you
like StarCraft, and
that
CNC,
kind of stuff. Those were fine. Those were my jam. I love those.
Age of Empires,
yep,
I'm right
that type
there.
of stuff.
Yep.
But the thing is that, like, with a console, it's like, all right, I pay my $500 and that's it.
Yeah.
With a PC, it's like, I got to buy the base PC, then I got to buy all the goddamn parts.
You have to upgrade eventually, right?
I have to install the parts, and so by all said and done, I could spend $1,200 and still not feel like it's still the best it can be.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, there was a shortage of NVIDIA graphics cards 2 years ago when we had those supply chain snarls, and people wanted to max out their system to like play Cyberpunk, which, you know, and it's just kind of like, I have a PlayStation right here, and I'll just do that. So
on a
Magnavox
Odyssey.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
So,
that's like up there with Sega CD.
So my question, shout out to Sega CD. Here's the reasons that I was asking. I realized I'm so bad at video games. Now, when I was growing up, I had a Xbox, right?
Yep, right on.
I had the very first black
Xbox
with the green.
Me too.
I remember when you could burn a CD into the Xbox and play music off of it, right?
Yes.
So the first CD, I remember it was the Linkin Park CD. It was their first CD that I downloaded and put on the Xbox. And Fred Hammond, a gospel album. So it was like I was listening to Fred Hammond and Linkin Park, like transition, right? Like that's just says a lot about my music taste.
It's a good cross section of Marcus at that time.
It really is.
It describes everything about me if you don't know. But you know, I realized back then you had the Spider-Man 1 game, and there was a lot of games on Xbox I used to play. Some of those Star Wars games back when demos were hot, right? You could get the free demo CD with the magazine, and you know you could play 15 minutes and try to really max out how far you could go in the fucking demos before it would time out on you, right? Like that kind of fun stuff. As the games evolved, I realized I just could not keep up, or I did not keep up with what was happening. Like I bought a Nintendo 64 for the space that I oversee on campus, right?
Oh yeah.
So bought a bunch of old school Nintendo games, and I
That's
watched
cool.
the guys play Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64 today, and realized like, oh shit, I never got to experience, as an only child and somebody who didn't really go to a lot of different houses and stuff like that,
Right on.
except my cousins who had video games, because we couldn't afford that kind of stuff, me and my mom. That was so much fun being able to play Grand Theft Auto, being able to play there was the one with Snoop Dogg, and he was like a cop, and I forgot what the name of that game was.
I don't know, but it sounds incredible.
That sounds amazing.
He was like a character. It was crime something. I can't remember what it is, but I missed that part of video games. Like I want a PS5 now so that I can play the new Spider-Man games. I watch these people all the time on Twitch or YouTube.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to experience that. So that was all. I was just kind of would you, Brian or Doug, would you ever Twitch stream you playing video games? Because that is like another form of income. You know, that is a super popular thing to do now.
I wouldn't. And here's the reason why is that like that is so my brain turning off time.
Right.
That I feel like if I had to turn it into something, I'd get really disillusioned with it.
For sure.
But that's also, I'm the type of person that like, if there's a game that requires a lot of like sneaking around, like Metal Gear Solid, I'm like, fuck, this feels like work. Like, I don't like, I just like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, fuck, they discovered me and I got to do this over again. I'm a big fan of like, if I have to stop, if there's something that I keep getting like stuck on like 2 or 3 times, I put it down and I don't touch it for like another week. It just bugs me out. So I probably couldn't do the stream because I would feel like this is crossing over into work and I just can't do it and I don't want to.
Well, and Roman had a great idea. This could be a whole new Patreon tier. You just see Doug, but it's only Doug playing stealth games, and he will stop after like the 3rd try. So you have to catch him at the right time.
It's gonna go like this. Oh, they found me. God, fuck, they found me. Fuck, like it's just gonna get progressively more angry.
You gotta
the thing is
as soon as you see the notification, you gotta drop everything you're doing. Doug's on. He's not gonna be on long.
Restart.
He'll be on for 10 seconds. Because I talked to, because you know what the problem is that, and this has happened to me like before we had kids and I had like a PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah.
I would play downstairs and I would be doing something that was like difficult. And I would be talking to myself like, oh, okay, so all right, let's add this equipment here. All right, we'll do that. But Brittany would hear me from upstairs and she'd be like, who are you talking to? Like, and I would go, don't worry about it. Like
I do that.
I do it all the time.
And it's really bad with the how much you want, Doug.
Roman Myers will pay.
Look, we have a $50 Patreon tier where Doug is just gonna play Assassin's Creed.
It's just
only
me
Assassin's
playing
Creed.
I do feel as if
me playing Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
on
Metal
repeat,
Gear,
and that's
even
it.
better. And he's gonna quit immediately.
I do think, as somebody who watches a lot of people, and Brian, I do want to hear your answer because
you're good. You're fine.
As much as I know Doug loves video games, I know that Brian has a history and a connection with video games and can walk you through why he actually likes a video game. And I would be interested to see you, Brian, Twitch stream a video game like Star Wars or something, that because you can give some type of history, connections, or something to these games.
And so when I was going hard on my TikTok channel, Rogue Roush, there's no new content, but I'm still gonna plug it.
There's nothing new, but
I did live cast, like I did TikTok lives when I found my original Xbox, and I did like the Revenge of the Sith game, and I did the old Rogue Squadron games, and I streamed those. And the thing that I found was like, it is really hard for me to like be good at the game and talk at the same time. Like I cannot look at the chat and stay on target to nail that exhaust port. Like it's really hard for me. And so if I did it, I would need to do it with a partner, whether that would be like one of y'all or Maggie. I think Maggie would be hilarious because
it would be very funny.
She gives me so much smoke when she sees me failing at a game. There's Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and there was a boss fight that I spent 3 days on, and she would just come down and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna get your ass kicked again? Cool, bye." And I did
20 minutes.
and
I would commit 20 minutes to that, and then I would give up on it for the better part of a week.
I'll never forget. I went to bed that night and she was like, "You get your ass kicked like I said you would?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try again tomorrow." And she goes, "It's the same thing you said yesterday." And then she rolled over and went to sleep. And I was like, "Okay, all right, I gotta beat Trilla." So like Trilla was like the final villain, so to speak, in that game, and I still have like images of her being like this top tier person I could not beat. I did finally beat her, but it was like 3 days. It took me like 3 days of my time at night trying to beat her.
Okay,
we do. Films in Black and White does have a Twitch account.
We do have a Twitch, actually.
I saw that icon on our
we
live
do.
stream.
We could if we wanted to live stream to Twitch.
We can live stream to Twitch. We should be live streaming to Twitch.
We're doing it now. Well, let's put it this way.
Oh,
we're doing it now.
We're doing it
We
right
are
now.
doing it right now.
But I do think a party game would be hilarious.
Mario Party would be fun.
Mario Party is, yeah, I feel like that barrier of entry would be good. I'm also wondering if there's something online too, but yeah, we'll definitely think about that.
Harrison and I lately on this same like streaming things.
Yeah.
So Harrison has been watching people play Luigi's Mansion 3 on kids' YouTube.
That's amazing.
And to the point where he is remembering parts, because I was like, buddy, like I have that game. Like, we could.
That's amazing.
You could play that now if you wanted to. He's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, you could play that now.
I bet you made his day.
I did, but then there are parts where I picked it up because it got hard. And he's like, Dad, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yep.
So I do it. And he's be like, yeah, because what happens after this is you have to chase the mouse. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you know what? I went, yeah, I have to chase the mouse next.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's amazing.
You just know that now. So Harrison is going down that video game streaming rabbit hole quite quickly.
Oh my gosh.
That's something we should consider. My last question about video games. I appreciate you both sharing your interest and their knowledge about it. Can you name a video game that you rage quit and never went back to? I'll go first. Gears of War 2. There is a it's either 2 or 3. I vividly remember it because there's a fight scene there's a level where you fight on the train and you have to get past these helicopters or some shit.
Yeah.
I never could get past that point. I haven't touched that game since. I remember quitting and being like, literally, fuck this game, and I turned it off and never went back to it. Just never went back. Do y'all have a video game or something close that's like that?
Oh, I can go right now. So my best friend, Brian Wall, we were hanging out. This was probably like close to 8 years ago. And he was like, hey, you got to play this game. It's called Bloodborne. And I think you'll like it. And it's like an action adventure thing. And I was like, all right. So we start playing it. We install it on my PS4. We start playing. And if you're not familiar with the development studio who makes Bloodborne, they also make Elden Ring. I believe it's From Software. And basically they specialize in games that are just like quote unquote hard. Like there's not a lot of save points. If you die, you lose all your equipment. You have to find it again. Like that type of stuff. Like really, like just hard to be hard type stuff. I did not know that going in. I did not know it was supposed to be that difficult. And like I spent a solid half hour just trying to get out of the starting area, and there's like a werewolf attacking me, and I was like, I have nothing. It's like, yeah, that's the game. Have fun. And so like I got through it, got to it through an hour, and I finally made it out, and I have like a chopped up axe or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to take on Bloodborne. And then I immediately died again. And I was like, okay. And I thought I'd start closer to where I was. Nope. Got to fight this dumb werewolf again. And I was like, what is this game? And like I come to find out like this is a whole genre of games. There's Demon Souls, Elden Ring, and Souls. And like for people who really like that, and I never picked up that game again. I installed the whole thing on my PS4. I played it for an hour. I hated it. Never went back.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, Doug?
I mean, Metal Gear Solid. Pick one. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
I
you really
probably
don't
try.
like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
I had to sneak past something, and the same fucking soldier saw me every single time,
Boom.
and I just got so tired of
Yep.
it because no matter what I did, he
Yep.
saw me, and I was like, you know how you have to move a thumbstick, like you can jam
Yeah.
it forward to run, or
Yeah.
you can like push it. I had
Yeah.
like both of my fingers, and I was just like inching it like to move so slowly, and the motherfucker still saw me, and I was like, no, I can't. I can't. I feel
Yeah.
my blood pressure rising right now, and this is not the point of what I'm doing.
There's a Dragon Ball Z game like that where you have to like wiggle the control because he puts you you have Vegeta, so you have one of the characters in a headlock, and it's like the animation has the character like moving back and forth, but
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to put them in the
Yeah.
range of the special beam cannon.
Oh,
And
of course.
if you have to wiggle the joystick just to have him like centered there.
Yeah.
I remember watching my cousin about to blow a damn gasket
Mhm.
trying to get that man
Uh-huh.
centered on there.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I also did not completely rage quit the first Jedi Fallen Order, whatever
Ooh,
the first
that's
one.
and that's
Several-
similar to a Souls game.
Several times went, this feels like it's intentionally being difficult,
Yes.
and I don't enjoy it.
Yes.
So
Those Jedi Fallen Order games, so Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Outcast absolutely have Souls DNA in them, but it's like, yeah, you want like a save point that's closer? Here you go. Like it's just a tad more forgiving, but like the first 6 hours I played of that, I was like,
I
this is one of the hardest games I've
and
played.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but sometimes the way that they've worded the difficulty makes me
Yes.
feel like they're
Yes.
insulting me.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so it's like,
100%.
you have it on medium and you need to go down to easy.
Yeah.
Whatever, pussy. Like
Yeah.
it feels very much like very much
whatever.
like
The way that
never
word
stick.
hit my
Why don't
ears
you-
was crazy.
why don't you grab a blanket and a diaper there, baby, if you have to
Yeah.
go down to easy
No,
difficulty.
it's super
just
derogatory.
like,
Yeah.
oh god,
They do challenge
because I
you.
would have to go like from the first Jedi Fallen Order game.
Yep.
Would have to like there were parts where I was like, this is just too hard. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see because the thing is you're gonna get me on story every time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If the story
it's a
is
genuinely good Star Wars story.
I
Yeah.
was like, I just want to play the story, but I kept changing the difficulty, and they're like, well, remember, you can always come back if you want to try it again.
Batman
And I was
Arkham
like,
Knight is kind of like that too.
yes, don't goad me into it,
Yeah.
EA. Like, leave me
Well,
alone.
there was a whole hubbub. I don't want to say it was a scandal. Like I feel like that's overused. I also saw Battletoads, by the way, Roman.
Yeah,
Notoriously one of the
Notoriously
hardest
difficult.
games.
Yeah.
And Superman on N64 made no sense. Absolutely bonkers. You have to fly through rings. Why can't I just use my laser vision? Anyway,
shout out to Superman Returns video game. That was the only open world Superman game.
Oh, I didn't know they made one for Superman
yeah,
Returns.
that was actually really good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have this new information now. Yeah, I lost the thread here. That's okay. But
it's all right.
That's all right.
Thank you, gentlemen,
That's all
for your video game. Let's look into getting our Twitch page together, I guess.
Yeah,
And we could.
Look,
We
Robert
can do
Myers really wants us to
Wow.
play this game. He said, "How much you want? $50, $75, $100?
Oh my gosh.
We will start a tier, Roman, if
Maybe-
you are willing to pay."
I will also say
Actually,
that
I'm
I
interested
am
in
not some dancing performer that will play difficult video games just for your amusement.
I might be.
But I will.
Marcus, do you want to do
not-
that?
I'm
I
not
will
Django,
also do
but I
that.
damn sure will dance. I'm not Bojangles, but I damn sure will dance. I would do it though. To be
I
honest,
would. It'd be fun. It would be
find a
fun.
way
to
to
do.
get
And
Superman,
there's
I would do it.
there's story-based games too where you can make decisions. Maggie and I just finished playing The Quarry,
Like
which
Telltale?
if you like mystery and like scary movies, like it's the perfect game to play
Oh,
for like a
if
date
you
night.
if you really want to shell out money, I will gladly play a scary movie like
Oh my
as a
gosh.
video game.
Oh,
I
that
hate
would be
scary movies.
hilarious.
Oh
and
my gosh.
I will
That would
play
be hilarious.
like a Resident Evil
That would
Oh my God.
for Halloween and
Come on.
as a fundraiser
Yeah,
or
Roman
something.
Myers.
'cause
Oh my
it-
gosh. Oh, this like I know the perfect game for you playing
Roman
Resident
Myers.
Evil 2 because it's
Yeah.
bonkers,
That
scary.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I almost want you to get a VR set. Like I almost want you to get the full VR
Okay.
set.
Full disclosure, I saw what they did with Resident Evil 7 with a VR set, and I will never play a Resident Evil game like that. That I can't. Like that
no
would
Brian.
freak me out. Like if we ever had access to a VR set, I would do it and record it.
My sister-in-law has an Oculus, I feel like.
Let's make some let's plan the content down the road. I kind of want to get into that.
Like I
thank
said,
you, Roman. I thank you for putting it on our radar.
We could introduce a new segment. I would gladly introduce
we can
a
look
new
at what
segment
we have access to. Yeah,
a new segment sponsored by Adult Diapers called "Scare the Shit Out of Doug," and I will.
What will it take, Doug, for the VR set?
I'm not committing to.
I am not put it on the line.
I am not committing to anything on air. I am not committing to anything on air.
Come on, Roman. Hey, listen, Roman. I'll commit with you. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
We'll talk. We'll think about that.
That'd
Because
be
there's
fun.
some stuff online or like through apps that we could probably do.
Find something, I'm sure. So cool. Awesome.
Anyway,
that's great.
That's what I had.
That's fun. I want to talk about some comic books that I read.
Oh, let's do it.
So there's a series of comic books that I had my eye on for a while, and thankfully, shout out to Midtown Comics in Midtown, New York. I know it sounds weird, like Doug, when did you go there? I didn't. They ship.
I think I
don't want anyone
my home if that's what it takes.
I don't want anyone taking mortgages out on their home to fund our podcast.
Not at this interest rate.
That's very generous of you.
Yeah. So Midtown Comics is really cool. So I'm gonna do a quick plug for them. They ship. If you want to, you can put together an order and then they'll mail them to you. And what I really like about it is they'll run flash sales. So it'll be like, hey, every comic book that starts with the letter W is 50% off.
That's awesome.
Back issues. So if you really like Wolverine, you could go in and see what back issues are there. So some of these, they are alternative covers that would normally be $12 because they're rare because the artist made them really cool.
Yeah.
And I got them for $2. And so
awesome.
it was really, really cool. So the series it's sort of like a dual series, and it's an X-Men run. And it's the Lives of Wolverine.
You've mentioned
5
this.
issues, and then the Deaths of Wolverine, which is also which is 5 issues. So I'll show some of the cover art. So if you're curious, Lives of Wolverine. Again, you can see him through the ages, which I really appreciate.
Is that Jean Grey on that cover too?
It is. It is indeed.
That man Wolverine always got a weakness for Jean Grey. What is she doing exactly?
Here's the thing with Jean Grey in the comics. She shows him the smallest modicum of patience and kindness, and he's like, "This is it. This is the woman for me." And she's like, "I'm just literally being nice to you." And he's like, "I love you."
I think she eggs him on just a little bit.
Not in this current version. No, that's just not how Krakoa operates. They are.
We're doing Krakoa. Okay.
Yeah, that's Krakoa right now. So I don't think she does it now. Now, has she ever? Oh, most definitely.
I mean, yeah.
So,
but Brian's also right. There's a lot of guys out there that do that shit too. Just because I'm nice to you, just because a woman, hold on, Doug, just 1 second. Just because a woman is nice to you, or somebody, whoever it is you're attracted to, whatever that means to you, right? Hey, love who you want to love. Love is love, right? That's what I'm a believer of. But I'm not a believer in being a weirdo. Okay, don't be a fucking weirdo. Okay? Just because somebody's nice to you just a little bit doesn't mean that they owe you every ounce of attention that they got in their body.
Yeah,
right. The world doesn't revolve around you. Stop being weird.
I mean, that's essentially Wolverine and Jean's relationship in
yes.
the comics.
That's
is
true.
what it feels like to me.
Having read the origin comic book about Wolverine and how he became Wolverine, I think Jean reminds him of his first love when he was living in Canada.
Oh.
That always comes back, but
looking at it,
really hit on that directly.
Yeah. So long story short, there was if you go all the way back to this 6 issue run of this comic book.
Yeah.
Logan grows up in this rich family. His dad works for the family. His dad is a drunk, creates a whole bunch of issues. They actually think that Logan at the time is a weakling. They actually think he's going to die, that he's never going to make it. He's sort of like forgotten on until the master of the house attacks his dad, and his claws come out and he mauls the master of the house.
Amazing.
But one of the girls who has red hair, who I believe is one of the daughters, leaves with him because she feels bad for him, and they go to the Yukon and live together for a while. And there's always this like, will they, won't they, like marry each other? They're seen that way as being together, but he ends up leaving her behind and she goes off to have a life with somebody who lives in the Yukon. So I think that if I were speculating, I think Jean reminds Logan, because of the level of kindness and because of who she is, I think she reminds him of his first love. I'm never going to remember her name, but that's who I think it is.
Well, and they kind of adapted that. Oh, never mind.
X-Men Origins?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Never mind.
They tried to. They tried to. They failed, but they tried to.
That may have been mentioned in other media, but we're not going to promote that.
Yep. This is my favorite cover from that run. Oh, let me turn this screen off so it don't get weird.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is my favorite image from this one. So like you can kind of see
what is happening there.
Yeah, and these are all alternative covers that I purchased because they were on discount. So
that looked like Conan the Barbarian mashup with Wolverine.
Yeah.
I love that.
So the plot line
Yukio?
It's what?
Yukio.
It's not Yukio.
Oh, okay.
That's when he lives in Japan.
Got it. He also was fucking Storm. And did anybody know that?
At some point in time.
Yeah, I mean that gets
like that
because that's like a Days of Future Past thing, isn't it?
I like
or
that.
no, I can't remember. It's like an
I can't
alternative
really know.
timeline, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was an alternative timeline.
But Wolverine X Storm, like I am a full
kinda fuck with
believer
it.
in.
An
I love that.
adamantium electricity storm thing.
Love
Yeah,
that for them.
man.
It's actually
Yeah.
hot. That's pretty
Yeah,
hot.
that's a yum I can't understand.
Why?
The
Is it because she's black or because he's Canadian?
It's because they're both mutants. Come on, Marcus.
What the fuck?
wrong with
That's
you?
even worse. somehow that doesn't feel right. But go ahead, keep talking about the damn comics.
My bones aren't made of metal, so I'm not going to be able to understand what it's like to have an electric current
Just
run over
keep-
my bones.
Just keep
Oh, really?
going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Keep going. Next comic. Go ahead.
I feel like we're not going to be able to resolve this. Anyway, this I've
Keep going.
oh,
Just keep
okay,
going.
keep going. So this run is really kind of cool. So it's in the Krakoa.
Yeah.
It's in the God damn it, Roman. It's in this Krakoa age.
You shouldn't have said nothing. I wouldn't have looked at it. That's how that yum.
Yeah.
That
Yum.
All
Yeah.
caps lock, yum.
Yep,
That's
that
what we're
caps
all
lock
about
bold
here.
Underlined.
In and out. Yep.
Yep. Anyway, so
I'd
it's in
be
the
on that.
Krakoa age. So it's in the most recent run of things. And this is where they have a bond with the planet where they can come back to
Yeah.
life because hashtag
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is Omega Red steals like the ability for them to be able to do that.
Okay.
And he finds out that actually Charles Xavier rewired him. So he has like a limit on how many times he can respawn.
Oh.
And so Rasputin,
Yeah.
the Marvel villain, gets like, hey, come work for me. Like, we're Russian brothers. They wronged you. Help me end Charles Xavier. You can get what they took from you back, which is your code, like your genetic code. You can get that back, and I get what I want. It's a win-win. So they send Omega Red back in time to try to kill like either Charles Xavier's parents, his dad, his mom, other versions of him, like throughout
my
the
gosh.
timeline. Well, Charles and Jean are like, well, if they do that, then we'll die here. And this whole thing, they're going to change history. So we can't
Right.
have that happen. So they just keep sending Logan back in time to various points of his body. And it's not like they send him back in time. They send his mind to repopulate his body in different points. Very
Oh my gosh.
There was also
Days
in
of
another
Future
project.
Past. That's a comic book too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, very much like back in time, not in the other media, but like, so there's a moment where, you know, they send Logan back to when Charles Xavier's dad isn't there, and it's literally like Logan is some random dude off the street who's like,
Right.
I'm here. Don't worry about it, everybody. I'm here to, because when Omega Red takes over somebody, his
Yeah.
tentacles still work. So like the housemaid will her eyes will turn red, and
Yep.
she'll just try to kill the person. So it's wild, but it's such a cool story and a lot of fun.
You're
to
convincing
read.
me to pick this up because that's such a cool premise.
And it's a cool premise because you get to go back and see, like, revisit portions of like, hey, what have you ever wondered what it was like when Sabretooth and Wolverine worked together? Hey,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna dump him in his body and you're gonna have to deal with it. So it's really, really cool. The most silly comic book thing that happens is Charles Xavier's dad is hunting whales in the Arctic. So
Okay.
Omega Red takes over a white whale and tries to eat him.
Oh my gosh, I love comics.
I do
I
too.
love
It's
comics.
incredible. So that's really
Okay.
good. That was really good. Definitely worth a read. Lot of fun. Go to Midtown Comics. They had them there. That's where I got them.
Sweet.
Or go to your local comic book store. The other side of this is that, so those are like the different lives of Wolverine that you
Right.
get to see and dump into, hence the title. The deaths of Wolverine is a little bit different in the sense of, so it's again takes place in Krakoa, and
Okay.
Moira Taggart, if you remember,
Oh,
friend of Charles Xavier, is
Yep.
a mutant in this version.
Okay.
They strip her of her powers and they kick her out of Krakoa. I can't remember exactly why, but
All right.
basically they're like, fuck them. Like, she's, and I think part of it is that Charles sees in the future what she's
Sounds like me.
capable of.
Yeah.
And to kind of paraphrase a couple of pages, essentially Moira gets mad that they stripped her of her powers, and they said, she's like, after all I did for you, I set it up so that way you could come back to life. I justify you all the time.
Yeah.
I even became one of you. Like, I altered my DNA and became a mutant, became one of you.
Right.
This is what you do to me. I'm going to make sure that no more mutants. Like, I am going to. And so in the future, she sets up an ability that she basically puts mutants in a cage and is just slowly killing them one by one.
Holy buckets.
And so they send Wolverine now from the future back to present day to try to kill Moira Taggart because of what she has done in the future.
What could go wrong?
And the lives of Wolverine is now there's a sequence where future Wolverine, Daken, who's Wolverine's son, X-23, and then there's even another Wolverine. So all of these Wolverines are like, well, we got to stop Moira. So they were, all four of these people are trying to hunt her down. And they're like, why are you trying to kill her? Like, what's going on? He's like, because I had to watch all four of you die because she killed all of you right in front of my eyes. And so he's trying to like prevent it because he doesn't want that to happen to
intense.
That is intense.
To his kids. It has been an incredible read. My favorite issue header from this one is similar in the sense of it's a variant cover, but it's this one. It's the variant where it looks like Venom is eating a version of Wolverine. And I really like how chaotic it is. So but yeah, that is the lives and the deaths of Wolverine. Which have been really, really good, a really, really fun read. I think the next one I'm gonna do is I'm behind a couple issues, so I might have to make a Sioux Falls trip, but
been over
Ghost Rider did a recent run, which is just wild. And it's just really, really good. And I've really, really enjoyed it. So I'll have to tell you all about
great
that
review, Doug. Great review.
Yeah, that was solid.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm the guy with questions tonight. Why is it that do you think there are any other X-Men characters that they can do as much as they do with Wolverine? with
Ooh.
and I want to just say the main ones. Like, I know there's a lot of new characters that get introduced, but
Yeah.
do you think you can do the same storylines with, like, I don't know, Cyclops, Storm? Because they do a lot with Wolverine in different capacities, and a lot of
Yeah.
that I feel like is based off of his healing abilities, because he can
Yeah.
travel through time, and he can do these things, and he can take it and he can heal. Are there any other characters that they can do that with
I
successfully?
think Magneto is probably the only other one you could do it with.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Okay. Okay.
Where you could do this level of it, where because Magneto's kind of one of those, he was one of the main core villains in the beginning, and then
Yeah.
over time he sort of became this sort of like, is he, isn't he? And now even when you kind of get to, like, again, the age of the X-Men that we're in now, where they live on Krakoa and they have this whole, like, life of themselves, that's where you kind of get to a point where, man, he's almost a part of the good guys, for the lack of a better world. Because the way that they've positioned the X-Men now is they've positioned the X-Men of like, why are we fighting each other?
Right.
Humans are the ones with the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why that whole Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals was such an interesting storyline, because essentially it was, the X-Men were going to the Avengers going like, look, humans, look, Homo sapiens, like, you fucked this up and now it's affecting us. And we agreed that so long as your shit didn't affect us, we could keep this thing in peace and harmony. And so I think Magneto's at an interesting point where you could do cool stuff with him and have it be like through the ages and that type of thing. So
Got it.
yeah.
Well, and I feel like that character has evolved so much in the comics too, that you can get to a point where that I feel like that journey could be really satisfying, because you can have him revisit his mustache twirly, villain era. And like, what do you think about that? But like, all the things Magneto said was right. It was just like, okay, but now you want to blow up the planet. That seems like we're getting a bit away from what you want to do here. But I think that would be a really fun dichotomy, at least for me, because I enjoy. I think it's in Schism, or Avengers versus X-Men, where like Magneto fully comes into his own and he's like, yeah, I don't do that stuff anymore. But I'm now an X-Men.
Basically, basically he's like, yeah, that's not my bag anymore. But
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, you just kind of you just killed 30 people yesterday. That's the old me.
That's the old me.
Here's the thing. That's not my brand anymore.
Yeah.
I wear a white suit now with an X-Men logo. I'm a good guy now.
It's me. Can't you see it?
There was another recent one that they tried to do this with, where they were like, well, let's try to put like a under the radar X-Men villain and make him like who up until this point thought was a part of the solution, and now let's make him part of the problem. They're really playing with this idea of reincarnation and realizing that, because one of the beauty parts of the way they've set up Krakoa now is that everybody comes back to life. And they're not saying like, oh, hashtag comics. Like, no, there's a reason. Like is
Krakoa. So I haven't been up to date on X-Men. Is Krakoa a planet?
Krakoa is an island in the middle of the ocean.
Got it. Okay.
And it is it arrives because of a bond between the mutants and planet Earth. And essentially planet Earth says, you all can have this space. It's yours.
Yeah.
You all are. So, and I don't know why. There's a storyline where it happened, and I'm not sure why and how it happened.
Oh,
but
I'm sure it's absurd.
It's probably ridiculous.
I thought Krakoa was like the back of a turtle or something like that, but I think I'm getting that confused with Moana. So
you might be.
Tanui.
Yeah. But anyway, they did that with Mr. Sinister recently. And Marcus, I told you about this comic book last week called Sins of Sinister, which is a really cool storyline where it's like, so one of Mr. Sinister's mutant abilities is that like he's incredibly smart when it comes to his own DNA and cloning, where he can have multiple versions of himself and like jump back and forth. Well, he breaks into the resurrection engine on Krakoa, and he puts a little piece of his DNA everywhere so that he is basically like a hive mind. And so And what he does is he replaces, so Krakoa and the mutants are ruled by the council. And basically he's like, well, I'm everybody on the council now. And so he can basically make whatever what he wants to happen. So that was a cool storyline. So I think they can do cool things now because of this resurrection engine. Like you can have people come back to life and it doesn't matter. Like they can just pop backing up and go in and out as much as they want to. So yeah. But yeah.
Cool.
That's what I got.
Shout out to y'all.
Yeah. It was a fun read. Marcus, what do you have?
Honestly, there's not much of nothing. If I could just take this moment to just talk about this album I listened to. Listen, Travis Scott. Travis Scott puts out phenomenal masterpieces of music, actual well-produced music. So he just dropped his newest album, Utopia. Would not be surprised. How does this relate to movies, Marcus? Well, it is what it is. But I wouldn't be surprised if you heard some of his music on some upcoming movies, some upcoming TV shows. But Travis Scott, actually, when he dropped his album, he dropped a movie with his called Circus Maximus. And you can watch it. I think you can watch it on YouTube Prime or something like that. But he dropped a movie called Circus Maximus. I have zero idea what the movie is going to be about. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't know if I'll watch it. If it makes sense to the album, I will watch it. But he also has a movie with A24. It is, the name of that movie is, it's shot in all infrared. That's what I know. I'm trying to find the title right now.
That's a choice.
Yeah, the entire thing is shot in infrared.
I filmed it forwards and backwards.
Oh, that's honestly what it sounds like. Oh, apparently it's a secret movie. Okay, so it is a secret movie. That's why I can't find the title of it. But yeah, so Travis Scott released an album. I like the Travis Scott album. I think it's really good. I think it's well produced, something that you can play straight through. He does the secret features thing where he doesn't have them listed when you go look at the album.
Oh, sure.
But there's a lot of different features on the album and some really big artists like Drake, Beyonce is on there, Sway Lee is on there, Kanye West is on there. There's a lot of different like big artists on there. He does diss, for those that keep up with hip hop. He does diss Pusha T and Pharrell because not Travis Scott. Drake dishes Pusha T and Pharrell. Partially, it's this weird story. So I saw that Tupac's ring sold for like $1 million in a beat.
I saw that highest, the most valuable piece of rap memorabilia to date that has gone off at auction.
Guess who bought it?
Drake
bought it. Okay. So I saw the article first that it was the most expensive hip hop thing to go out. Then I found out when Drake posted on his story, which I follow Drake, that he was wearing Tupac's ring, essentially.
That's a bold decision.
It's a Drake move, though.
It's a bold choice.
Man, I would be really worried. I don't believe in ghosts, but boy, howdy. That is something I feel like you're just tempting fate at that point.
I mean, we didn't catch the man who shot him. It does feel like you're egging something on here.
Actually, they are trying to catch him. They are reviewing some bullets that was at somebody's house.
Yeah, they reopened the case.
Yeah, they reopened that case because
the Tupac case for those following.
It's a lot happening. Hip hop beef is such a thing.
Yeah, it is.
So he really bought that. Some say to diss Kendrick or to because Kendrick loves Tupac. And he bought that to say that I got this thing about Tupac. But he also bought Pharrell's old school Nintendo PS chain. Like, it was this old school gold chain that Pharrell, NEID, when he was in that era, wore. It was like this iconic fucking chain, right? And it looks like a game piece. He bought that in the song Meltdown. He talks about, I'm going to melt down your boss's Pharrell. He's talking to Pusha T about Pharrell, your boss's chains and all this other shit. It's a whole thing. The album is good. If you like drama, go listen to that. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is
I do like drama.
We can dive deeper into that maybe in a Patreon episode if we want to review that. But that's all I kind of wanted to talk about. I just think it's interesting that, Travis Scott can drop a album and then 2 movies after that. And the connection and pipeline from rapper to movie is not an easy one to.
No, not many have been able to do. I mean, Will Smith being the most famous who has ever done it,
right?
And then, I mean, one would say Kid Cudi most recently.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interstellar, Intergalactic.
Most Def,
Intergalactic, yeah.
Most Def did
Most
it.
Def. Drake. You know, you have to kind of say Drake.
What was he in?
He was in Degrassi. Like that was what he was known
Oh,
for
got it.
first.
Right, got it. Okay.
So that I'll say TV, not necessarily movies, but TV to rapper to TV pipeline is not a easy one to do.
No.
Even Beyonce has kind of struggled with
I mean,
being a
she
super
was
mega fucking star and was in this hip opera like a
she
long time
was
ago.
in a comedy with a Canadian man that I will not
What was
mention.
that? Oh,
She was in Austin Powers 3.
Yep.
she
Yep.
was in Austin Powers 3. Genuine
Yep.
review.
That's a fact. Genuine
That is a
review.
fact.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. And
We are not being
yeah.
paid to promote it.
There's a lot. So just Travis Scott dropped. There's movies coming out. Apparently, the new movie he shot with A24 Studios. Not which A24 is fine, so I'm not promoting this movie, but they shot it entirely in infrared. I have no idea when it's.
I don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Me neither. So just enjoy that. I guess I'll be interested to see what happens next, but it is what it is.
Marcus, I have a question for you about hip hop beef.
Yeah. I'll answer best I can.
I don't really need to know who's mad at who because it seems like it's sort of like made up the reasons why they're mad at each other.
I could see it. It's
to like at least to me as an outsider looking in, and you could tell me whether or not my guess is accurate. It seems like someone has a bar and they mention someone and they're like, "Oh man, shouldn't have mentioned that guy because that means you're ignoring this guy and they're not getting." It seems very much like it's just feels like we're playing 6 degrees of separation in terms of who's angry at who.
Whose beef are you referring to?
In general.
Oh, you're just saying in general.
So it does. This is very interesting because I don't know in any other genre of music where you get this type of beef, right? You don't.
Yeah.
Country music does not have people going back and forth. I don't think in the music that then translates to like stuff in real life or.
They have their own issues.
Pop stars, but like, yeah, right? Like, yeah, well, you try that in a small town, I guess. But so hip hop, Drake specifically, and Pusha T. Pusha T and Drake went back and forth because Kanye West, this is a supposed story.
See, now we've introduced a third party.
Right. So here, follow me, right? Kanye and Drake were supposed to work together. Okay. And there was this beat that Drake wanted that Kanye produced. Kanye essentially shitted on that beat to make it worth nothing because he knew Drake had it because they got into some type of whatever behind the scenes. And he put out that stupid record that was boopity scoop, scoop, boopity scoop, scoop. It was a bullshit record where he just basically fucked over a beat, right?
Yeah,
that was a real thing that got released.
You can look it up. That was a real thing.
I remember making fun of it, and I was like, "What is this?"
We were all thinking the same thing, and of course, the cult followers are like, "Kanye's a genius. Y'all just not listening deep enough." But really, it was him just trying to fuck over that beat, right? So then, in that, Drake and Kanye were like really close at one point. Drake told Kanye before he told the world about his son that he was having a son. Kanye is supposedly told Pusha T. Pusha T and Drake start going back and forth. Pusha T reveals that Drake has a son on the way, that he's like basically a deadbeat dad, and exposes that without allowing Drake to do it. They go back and forth. Pusha T disses Drake's producer 40.
Oh my gosh.
Like sick and could die. Like he has like real sickness and could die at any moment. Pusha T
that's a legitimate thing to make fun of.
So Pusha T dissed him. A lot of people are like, that's off limit, but a lot of people are like, rap beef there are no rules on the rap beef.
Interesting.
It started heating up so much that somebody who is of the high, like mob life hip hop had to come down and tell them, nah, we got to stop that shit. And we got to, before this goes too far.
Yeah.
But Drake has now randomly amped this shit back up with the Meltdown record. So now we don't know what the fuck happened. So some of the beef can seem made up. Some of it is like
that's legit. Like that seems legitimate. Like there's stuff there that's like, no, that would be legitimately disrespectful or something that makes me mad.
Do actually start from like somebody dying, some people doing something, or like some people got killed, and then you mention the person that killed this person is your homeboy or close friend of yours, and then it
You know what's really funny is that like anytime I hear someone who has beef with Eminem, I'm like, oh no, that tracks. Like I just like let it go for some reason, and that's not a comment on him. It's just I kind of know his reputation of like he takes stuff very personally. Given like I mean he's kind of earned his place for what someone say like where he's at in terms of the history. So when he's like, oh, when they diss me, I get mad about it. Like who the fuck are you? I'm like, no, that's legitimate. That's legitimate. But this was like, it's so that's really interesting. So then. Follow-up question.
Yeah.
As someone who is a fan of all music, do you necessarily, I mean, you obviously know a little bit about it, but does that influence like how much beef is involved between two folks, like who you listen to? Is it just like like I listen to whomever, it doesn't really matter?
Me personally, I'm not that invested in the lives of celebrities. Now, it depends on why they're beefing. Right now, if it's some outlandish shit, then obviously I don't want to listen to whoever's doing the most outlandish shit that I feel like
you mean like boopity scoop?
Well, that to me is an outlandish. That's just kind of funny, right? It's kind of like, oh, Kanye's like so stupid but a genius, right? That's fine. I am a fan of getting good music.
Got it.
I do know that there's a line that gets crossed eventually when you start mentioning certain neighborhoods, people, affiliations, that kind of thing, where it goes beyond just two rich people throwing blows at each other that'll never see each other in person.
Right.
And then it gets real personal to an extent if you feel like maybe I should step out of this one. But when I look at the Meek Mill and Drake beef, that beef made so much good music like back to back, like oh my god, like Summer 16, there were so many hits. Drake was Charged Up, that's 3 songs from one beef that I was like hot damn, like yo, Drake is killing
all right,
you know what I mean?
All right,
so like there is good music as a fan that comes out of the beefs.
Got it. Okay, because that's kind of what I was curious, because I would think that like again, if you're trying to put together, this is all with the music in mind, so there's a part of it that's like, man, we're going to get some really good. It's almost like having two people on like a basketball court or a football field. Like, oh, they don't like each other.
Yeah.
This game is going to be fucking awesome.
It's the same with if Kendrick and Drake ever directly went at each other's head, like they have subliminal beef, right? But if they ever went directly at each other's head, we get a lot of good music out of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the one thing about Drake is he's so strategic and good at making music. If he makes a diss track, it is going to be something that you can either dance to, will play over and over. It'll
so you can hear it everywhere.
My mom will play
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
I mean, go ahead, Brad.
I was gonna say,
go ahead.
God damn it. Okay, all right. Here's what I was gonna say.
Tired.
I was gonna say, what I find interesting about like the beef area is that as someone who's not invested in the culture, I wouldn't have ever been able to tell you. Like if you had been like, what I would love for you to do, whether it's a Patreon or whatever, I want you to like list off tracks that are like what we would consider beef tracks, and then I would love to listen to them to see if I can pick up on it. Because as someone who
like who's beefing?
Yes, because as someone who likes Pusha T, I like his music. Like it's on my running list. It's usually on my lifting list. So like I like his music. I'd be willing to bet that I've listened to something that has
you didn't know was a diss track
that has beef where I
Yeah,
have just missed it entirely.
Well, like it's kind of like Taylor Swift, Bad Blood. Like apparently that is a diss track to Selena Gomez.
I believe it's Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. And Katy Perry had another song, I guess, that was a track back to her. So, but eventually over time, those beefs kind of go quiet.
I mean, Katy Perry was at a Taylor Swift music video, so they clearly came to some agreement.
Yeah.
And then you still get to make money off of that. And I think one of Drake's diss songs got nominated for a fucking Grammy. So like these moments be so crazy, but they're such strategic moments in time. I enjoy it. Last comment that I'll make about like music, because I just love it so much. I didn't get to grow up in a Jay-Z era where you get to witness somebody like Jay-Z live forever and make their stamp in history. So to me, I feel like I get to watch Drake be this Jay-Z, right? Of like, I got to witness him. I was listening to Drake mixtapes on the bus headed to middle school, like listening to Comeback Season and his old mixtapes before people knew who he was. And then when I heard his first record on the radio of like, oh fuck, like Drake just signed to Lil Wayne and Young Money, which has so much history in itself.
Yeah.
And then he got to him and Nicki Minaj essentially got to evolve to this level of being like bigger than hip hop. Like they are not just hip hop rappers anymore.
They've become iconic.
They're iconic now.
Yeah.
And so now I get to witness my like rappers like J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake be these fucking icons in real time.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of crazy to think about.
That's cool. That's that's really interesting. Brian, you had something, but I bulldozed you.
No, you're totally fine. All I was gonna say is I feel like rock and roll does have diss tracks, like that's my domain typically, but like I feel like with rock and roll songs, they're like, I'm gonna sing subtly about you, and how do you sleep at night, and you don't know who I'm talking about, and
it's like
they might mention a name, maybe like John Lennon did, but it was just like this. I don't know. It was just kind of like, oh, they said some things. That's too bad. And I feel like with rap and hip hop, though, they go straight for the jugular. And I don't see that in rock and roll as much. Like they'd rather get more melodic, like more with a melody with it, rather than be like, you know, have Guns N' Roses be like, hey, Motley Crue sucks as a band. 1, 2, 3, 4, drum solo. You know?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I feel like
it was a song about dragons. There was a diss track in there? Like
I just feel like some of that history and lore behind some of these rock songs, which is some of my favorite shit, right? Is listening to these songs this whole time.
Right.
And then you hear Avenged Sevenfold in a Beyond the Music interview be like, yeah, this actually was a song about fucking insert blank whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh fuck, I'm like, oh fuck, I did not know that was a diss track. You go back and listen to it. NWA, on the other hand, if they got fucked over by their manager, they were gonna let you know, like they were direct with the music.
That is like the last group of people I would ever want to cross.
You see what I'm saying? Like they were not fucking around, and so no Vaseline. Like Ice Cube was not fucking around. Like when he was dissing,
he was not messing around.
You know what I mean? Like they were not fucking around. So
that's a fucking wild song. If you listen to that start to finish, and then you understand the background of it, you're like, oh shit!
It makes me. And these songs. It's so funny because a lot of these songs will then be in the movies that we watch in the background.
Right.
And some people either don't know the history, don't know the lore, don't know the context of these things. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's funny to me how people, you know, receive music and the reaction that people get of hearing like Ether, right? And Jay-Z and Nas go back and forth. And now Jay-Z and Nas are cool, but nobody would ever have known Jay-Z and Nas was beefing at the time, and now you hear that song all over the record, and it means something different to everybody.
Oh, man, in middle school, we had to do a reading comprehension thing about hip hop and rap and why it was bad that these two rappers were beefing, and like why. And it was so bad. And looking back now, I was like, I don't like that. Like we didn't do that with rock and roll music. We didn't do it with white people music. But my teacher thought like, no, we need to talk about Jay-Z and Nas and discuss this. And now looking back, I wish sixth grade Brian would have been like, this is problematic. But I knew about that all the way back in middle school. Like everybody knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's basically it. I don't know how we got here.
Man. No, that's incredible. I love it. I always find that stuff interesting because of how oblivious I am as a human being, where I'll just be like in my car trying to fire off the same level of bars. But now that I know that
it's not even oblivious. I'll say this. It's not oblivious because why should we know about it's only to people that constantly, I'm going to hit a point in life where I can't keep up anymore with the latest of the latest or whatever.
It's age 36.
Oh, it's impossible.
It's impossible to do. So at some point I won't be able to keep up with the beef. And sometimes I don't even give a damn that two people are beefing in their raps. It's only when it's icons on iconic level of like, oh, hold on, you dissing Pharrell? Like Pharrell is like the Louis Vuitton, like, you know what I mean? Like
he doesn't seem to bother anyone.
He doesn't bother anybody. So in my mind, I'm like, Drake, why the fuck would you do that?
Why?
And Pusha T is from the 757, like he reps Virginia, you know what I mean? And so Pharrell, really Pharrell, but like there's so much history that comes like in what it relates to you as a person.
Right.
It's just very interesting, man.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
if you're curious, like when are you no longer going to have time? You and I had this moment, Marcus, and you witnessed it. Like you witnessed it in person. You and I were either like at a movie and you were filling in on me with some of like the drama of like in town, who was dating who and who broke up. And I remember I remember I stopped and I went, nope, I don't need to know this.
He did.
I was like, I don't need to know this. I don't know why I asked.
And he just turned away and just shook it off. And I was like,
I was just
I don't really need
moved
to know
on.
this either.
When you catch yourself going, I don't need to know this.
Yeah.
That's the moment. That is the moment.
When I find a pop culture thing, I'll give you 2 Google searches. But after 2 Google searches, if I don't have a definitive answer of why this phrase is significant, I don't care about you.
I don't need to know it then. I just don't need to know it.
It's just not worth my time to figure out why Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish said, I'm going to sink or swim with this person. You're like, I don't even know who this other person is.
Unless I'm playing Jeopardy.
Yes.
Well, yeah, there you go.
That's a whole different story.
Who is 90s rock bands?
Yep. Also, I will say this in the same vein. I do think it's interesting. I read an article in CNN the other day about how there is starting to be a schism in country music a little bit.
Yes.
That there is the not in my hometown, not in my small town people. And then there was a guy who wrote a song, a country music song, a popular country music artist wrote a song about a married couple. And it ended up, he wrote it about 2 men.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so
okay,
that's the same side of the coin that is country music that I think is interesting, because that there are some in that population where that would be really problematic for them. So I think it's interesting to see that side of it too. So that'll be something to kind of watch to see, does country music evolve and something splits off in segments? Because that's the thing that I think is really interesting, to be like, oh, that's how jazz morphed into like moved into blues, which eventually became our version of rock and roll.
Such an interesting topic.
That shit, I love that shit.
Listen, black gospel had birthed so much. Just look
110.
Black gospel music and just, that kind of stuff. It birthed literally music itself.
I mean, unfortunately, Elvis Presley monopolized a ton of that. So very interesting.
And everything is polarized. Everything is beef. So it's not just black people in hip hop beef. You know what I mean?
No,
everything is hip hop, whether you know it or not. Like pop, it has a hip hop sound. Everything is hip hop.
Oh, so, it does. Oh my gosh, I could talk for like 15 minutes about that. But yeah, that's another podcast
for sure.
Beautiful.
Gentlemen, anything that you all would like to plug this week?
Hey folks, go check out thelovenerds.com. That's my wife's blog, and she's the one that told me that I wasn't going to beat that boss. So if you like her dissing me, go support her and that website. If you like her giving me smoke, you go to thelovenerds.com and just go check out some of her articles, recipes, and other lifestyle blogging tips.
If you think she's good at giving Brian the business, you should see the t-shirt designs.
That's when she's giving it her full focus, too.
Yeah.
This was stuff when she was half asleep. Like, well, it's what you said last night.
And just rolls over.
Sure, you'll beat that boss. Okay, honey.
Yep. Marcus, what do you got?
You want to follow the mantra, never offended, always humble. You know what I mean? Go get you some merch. Go listen to some music. Soul Tie is out right now with Wait 1 Minute. He has a lot of music out. Wait 1 Minute Time is also out.
Nice.
You can go stream some Marcus J. Destin music. Also, I will be, for the rest of the Mondays in the summer, which is not many, I will be dropping playlists every single Monday on my social page. And they will be called a Summer Monday. So a Summer Monday #1 dropped today. It is just a playlist specifically for Spotify, but I just curated a playlist that is meant to just, play straight through, get you a good vibe. It's only an hour. It's meant to just get you started to your day at whatever point you listen to or need it. But then we'll be dropping next Monday, a Monday Summer #2, just different vibes curated for you. But whatever you do, follow the mantra, never offended, always humble.
I didn't mean to laugh, but I was in my head. I was like, oh man, a Summer Monday. for 2 Mondays left. Like there's a part in the back of my head that was like, that would have been great in July. Like
I couldn't do that shit every July, so I was like, let me start in August or into July and August.
You know what?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
playing smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
That's working harder, not smarter for sure. What do I have? I have this podcast. Look, if you enjoyed our discussion about really everything today, a little bit of potpourri today, recommend us to a friend. It's the best way the podcast gets some traction. If you are feeling so inclined, or if you'd really like to watch me play Resident Evil via Twitch,
my gosh,
go over to patreon.com/films in black and white, sign up for one of our tiers there, and help support us that way.
Come on, y'all.
We are going to do some fun stuff over the course of these next few weeks, so stay tuned. We're going to do some exciting things. But we have a 3-step process to success. Brian, please kick us off with that 3rd step.
Hey, folks. Well, I'm gonna start with the first step.
Why did I say 3rd?
That's all right.
Because it's later than we usually do.
It's okay. We're all tired. Look, the first step. Oh, wow. Okay.
Step 3. Yeah, Brian.
We're just gonna go straight to step 3.
Yeah, fuck it. Step 3. Just go right to step 3.
We're just gonna go straight to the end, folks. Wash yourself. Oh no, we're doing step 1 now. You punked me. All right. Read a book. Read a book.
Hold on, I got you, Brian. Go ahead, do it.
Watch yourself. Yep, do it.
Look, it's hot, and it's hot, and this is like a hygiene thing. Like, just take a shower and clean it all. Clean the back, the bottom, the front, like everything, and your legs. You have to wash your legs.
Let's stop laughing.
You can't just let the soap run down. That's weird.
I was doing that.
That's lazy. Don't do it. And if you're like, Brian, you're being weird. I'm being weird because one time on Twitter, someone said it and people disagreed with them. There's a whole population of these people that outed themselves. So I'm just saying, like, just do that. We still got some 100-degree days coming down the wire. Just take a shower, please.
Yeah. I think Brian doing that a wholesome way is my new favorite way to hear it. It was perfect.
Such a like dad moment where I really felt like he was genuinely concerned about my ass.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
And he put it in a way in which that didn't make me feel ashamed. Wash yourself. I loved it when he went front and back. That could be anything. It was very inclusive. So I appreciate it. So cheers to Brian.
Way better than get in your butthole.
Marcus. Oh man.
Anyway,
Marcus,
you want to make sure you drink some water.
Please.
All right, listen, it's getting hot outside. Sometimes you don't need the expensive water. You just need something inside you. Okay, so like just make yeah.
Yep,
anyway,
there it is.
Drink water because you need to make sure your pH balance is right. Men,
it's true.
I'm looking at you. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you are passing stool properly. And you know how you do that? Drink some water. Okay.
Accurate.
Sometimes skip the Fiji, go straight for whatever the cheap big ass bottle that truckers
drink it out the faucet if it's decent.
Drink it out. Oh well, not Verm. Put a filter on that first, but then drink it out of the faucet. But whatever you do, make sure you drink some water, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And our last step is, look, y'all, read a book.
Please.
We talked about a lot of stuff today. We talked about music history. We talked about rap beef.
Yep.
We talked about comic books. We talked about video games. All of these topics and more are available in a book format. So find something you love to read or to listen to and enjoy a book. It's good for you. It's good for us. It's just good all around. So make sure that you read a book. So that does it for this week's episode of Films in Black and White. We'll be back next week with another fantastic episode. But in the meantime, and in the between time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next week.
Hello.